Yeah, you know what's happening, yo. You know what's going on. Let me crank this up. Oh man, that Dragon Ball Z Season 2, kicking it on the reviews. Who you with? Yeah, I love that part. Where it gets to edit it. Never gets old. But yeah, Season 2. It's a solid season. I mean, things start off. It was kind of stupid how like the whole process of getting into Namek was pretty inconsequential in all reality. Like if you hadn't watched those parts and had gotten to Namek, like watched it right when they had gotten to Namek, they would have been like, oh, okay, it really wouldn't have mattered. One of those kind of filler. I don't really know what it did, all things considered. I mean, they got out. It was just like one of those things where it's like, it's just dumb luck, and I hate that stuff. But yeah, once they get to Namek, though, that's when the good stuff starts. So you throw out the first disc, you're fine. And it's like you have this whole probably Goku taking his whole sweet time to recover. I mean, granted, he got all his bones broken, but the point remains. It's once he gets out, gets the sensu beam, boom. And they have a lot of parts in the show. Like, it seems like there's this constant, like, first 3 seasons is basically just waiting for Goku to do his thing. They switch it up in Season 4 because he becomes kind of useless in Season 4 by comparison to what he is now. So, yeah, it's like now, where Season 1 was him on Snake Way, Season 2 is now him recovering in his training, so that time period. And then Season 3 is him also again recovering in the healing tank. Spoilers, by the way. And I wrote more stuff down, so this might be a bit more extensive. But I mean, the training once Goku starts doing the training, that's I love that stuff. I mean, it's for the majority, it's pretty awesome. I mean, it's crazy. Like, there's that one part, this dude's doing a handstand push-up with 40 pounds on, 40 pounds on each side of a bar. He has a bar on his feet, also doing a handstand. So he's balancing that, and this is at 20 times his gravity. So that basically, he has a ton, literally a ton, he's balancing that. I think it does fall on him, though, but the point remains, it's like, dang, like, that is heavy stuff. And he's doing a handstand push-up. That in and of itself. Now, granted, he can fly, so perhaps it's not as impressive as as you would think. But yeah, I mean, still, he went from 10 times its gravity or 20 to 100, like that in a matter of like less than 6 days. Like, that is insane. How much of a progression he made. I mean, he's got some insane determination to save his friends, and it works. I mean, when he gets when he gets out, he saves the day. He just rolls them, but we'll get to that later. But focusing back on Bulma and Krillin and Gohan and their little escapade, it's intense. Like the first part of it, before they meet up with Vegeta, for their unlikely alliance, it's like this whole chase because, you're wondering, like, who's this Frieza guy? And then you see him and all his goons when they're flying overhead Gohan's group. It's intense. Like, when there's like 100 of them, and you see Frieza, and it's just like, dang. It's like, that's one bad dude. He's real bad. Like, when he destroys the mountain, just like he doesn't even blink. His eye flickers and boom, a whole mountain blows up. You're like, dang, this guy's is dishing out some crazy stuff. But yeah, it's just like one of those things where it's like you got a guy like that, and you got Gohan and Krillin who just, and then you got Vegeta there, who really, in all actuality, is not much better than Frieza in a lot of ways. I mean, he kills entire village, so in the sense he's just as bad. So it's one of those things where you kind of don't root much for Vegeta, aside from the fact that at least it wouldn't be Frieza who has him, but in a sense, they both want immortality, so it adds this, I don't know, it's interesting. But it's ominous. It's ominous when you see Frieza, and it's like, ooh, it's intense. It's good. And like the whole thing with like the power, the scanners and everything. It's an interesting aspect within it. And yeah, let's see what else. Let's see. Yeah, but I mean, it's like one of those things where, you know, like Vegeta will get a ball, and then Gohan gets a ball, and it's like, because you need all 7, and it's just like, ooh, there's a lot of like, you know, it's definitely one of those ones you want to watch the next episode, and you know, when it comes to Dragon Ball Z, it's like you want Goku to come, and you know, that's when, like, whenever Goku comes, that's when things are at its peak. Everything else, it's kind of like with the Garlic Jr. stuff, it's like, really, yeah, there was consequence, but in all reality, it's like, this isn't the strongest guys. It's like, this is the appetizer. We want the main course. Goku with his strength and everything. Though, I don't get how training at 100 times Earth's gravity allows you to read people's minds. Though I had a conversation with my friend, RJ2, and we talked about how maybe he's able to sense the electrical currents and signatures that have happened in the past, you know, like the kind of the ripple effect kind of thing. And because maybe it's just because he's so powerful now, his energy just is able to be he's able to sense other people's energy from the past kind of thing. And regardless, it's just a means to help the story progress in a more fluid way without them having, you know, you would think, oh yeah, you know, Dragon Ball Z, they'll just spend an entire episode discussing it. But they do, in all reality, want to get the story to progress further, because they do want us to get to the parts that's really cool. Yeah. Let's see. But I mean, it's just like, it's one of those things where, I think it's cool how there's that unlikely alliance that gets formed between Vegeta and Krillin and all that stuff. And when they get there, and like the Ginyu Force's arrival, it's just, you know, when they all land, boom, 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 explosion. You're like, dang. Though, you know, they're flamboyant. They're pretty gay. Even Frieza thinks they're a bit on the other side, so to speak. Because it's like, man, I don't know. It's weird because they're like these psychopathic killers, and yet they act so like girly and like flamboyant. I don't know. But regardless, it's interesting, the alliance that forms between Vegeta, Krillin, and Gohan, because it's like, oh, the Ginyu Forces are here. Okay, and now we're gonna, you know, go and do that and everything. And getting thirsty here. And then dude get and Matt Raccoon. I just like, he just wouldn't die. You know, he's getting hit left and right, and dude snaps to Gohan's neck. Just bam, and it's like, ooh, this season has some of the more painful moments in Dragon Ball Z. When Goku is training, like when he's in that storm and everything's just going the way it is, it's like, and he, like, his legs basically get ripped, like the bones get dislocated, his hands ripped, like he shreds them. I'm like, it's like, that's so painful to watch. And then like when Gohan gets his neck broken, you're just like, oh, dang. But then when, I mean, and Krillin, man, he got made look like baby back, you know what. Cause Rikun just like, bam, one hit wonder. But then when Goku, he arrives, man, he's walking there like one bad dude. Like, he owns the place. He's just like, yeah, I'm gonna take care of these guys. I mean, he messes them up. I like when Rakun's about to do his eraser gun and Goku just punches him, and he's like, I saw the opportunity, it just said punch. It's so funny. Like, I love that whole fight between him and then Jace and Berter. Because he's just like, oh man, when they're going all around him, like they're flying around him and they can't hit him, and they think like, what's going on, but he's like moving so fast. I'm like, dang, you know, he's like, that's some serious OG stuff. Though Vegeta, man, he just needs to like calm it down with that Super Saiyan stuff. He's like, oh, he's a Super Saiyan. I'm a Super Saiyan. Oh snap, we're both Super Saiyans. It's like, no, you're not. And though I think it does help this kind of like build up, because I think you're like, by the time you get to when Goku does turn a Super Saiyan, you're kind of like, you're kind of like, okay, it's Super Saiyan. Wait, it's like, oh, is this it? Is it? Oh, and then it's like, oh, it's so much cooler than anything that Vegeta tried to have lived it up. And it's like, and I'm like, that's some good stuff. He thinks, oh, I'm this, I'm that, and it really isn't. And you think, oh man, it was just a legend, because Frieza's like, you guys are a bunch of idiots. Though, man, Vegeta, he's a real jerk. When he's like, yeah, okay, Goku, let me and you, we'll tackle it together. And he's just like, bounce, sorry, I'm leaving. And it's like, dang, man. Though I love the line where he's like, if there's one thing I've learned from this ordeal is that I'm a freaking genius. I'm like, man, that's some gold right there. I mean, he is pretty smart the way he tries to strategize, but it just don't work, man. All his strategizing just don't work. But when Goku is like powering up, when he's powering up against Captain Ginyu, you're like, dang, 180,000, and his hair looks like Super Saiyan without all the gold business. Though another time when you see Frieza and like how Tensei's getting with like those 3 Namis, he just kills them with his breath. He's just like dead, gone, not a chance, get out of here. Though I thought, you know, one thing I also thought was like, damn, that Captain Ginyu body exchange, whatever you would call it, that's a bunch of bull, man. I'm like, I don't know. It just seems like it's one of those things where I guess like if you were getting beat up, he could never lose kind of thing. Though the whole process was just like, I can't deal with much of that. It's just everything that happened. You know, Goku's having to throw a frog and like save the day. I'm like, whew. Talk about it's an intense way to end the season relatively. Though I will admit, like the season does end with a lot of it's Mondo cool. It's Mondo cool. So I think that, let me see if I can find that. I love that line from Krillin. So I think, yeah. Here we go. Let's see if we can find it real quick. But
so what's this machine for, Vegeta?
Give me a second.
It's called an isolation chamber. It'll get Kakarot's strength back in no time. The liquid in this capsule is synthetic Saiyan DNA, which will penetrate his every pore and make him as good as new.
There we go. That's gonna be what I try to think of something that I can have for each season or what I think about it. But anyways, yeah, I mean, there's all these things that are happening. You got a good build up for the next season. You got Dende getting to the Earthlings. You got Krillin going to Guru to get Dende. You got Nail holding off Frieza. Goku healing, and that music, man. They had that awesome music. I can't do it, but yeah. All that stuff, it does add to this awesome combination come season 3, and you're like, ooh, 3 wishes. That's kind of cool, man. I'm not gonna lie. Though my man Krillin says it best.
Whoa, Mondo cool.
That's right, boys. Mondo cool.
Mondo cool, man. Mondo cool. So yeah. It's a solid season. I give it the thumbs up. So watch it if you haven't. You know, you're in for a good time. Throw out the first disc and enjoy, my friends. See ya.